Here's something random I just learned about Japanese. So today I'm going to be talking about taco. As you know, that could be the word for an octopus, or it could be the word for a kite, or I could be talking about calluses. Remember that mimi ni taco does not mean an octopus in your ear, but rather that you have heard something so often that it feels like your ear is calloused. Now, I thought all these words came from different places, understandably. They obviously have different kanji, but it turns out that there's relationships between at least the first two. So taco, as far as I can tell, is a word that's existed in Japanese in some form for quite some time. The kanji that we use for it, though, actually originally referred to a spider, and it still has some very, very limited use in Chinese in that purpose. Indeed, the first ways that Japanese people represented the word octopus was as a sea spider, rather than just the single kanji we use now. However, over time, this just became the kanji in Japanese for octopus, and it's not used for spiders at all. So what does this have to do with kites? Well, kites in Japanese have a long tradition, being borrowed either from China or Korea or both, and originally had some names like shien and others that you see here, which use kanji related to birds, which makes sense as a metaphor, right? They're flying in the sky. Over time, however, people realized that the string coming down from a kite made it look like a certain tentacled creature. That's right, a squid. So they were actually called ika. They were not called taco at that time. Flying a kite was known as ika-age, and it was a very, very common practice. Indeed, it became so common that it became a problem, with a number of festivals resulting in potential deaths or destruction, damage, even burning, kites lighting on fire and falling down, to the point that during the Edo period, the Tokugawa shogunate passed laws banning ika-age. And here is where taco comes in, because some enterprising Japanese individuals realized that while ika-age was banned, taco-age was not. And I know that sounds like a joke, but I'm 100% serious, this actually happened. Now, obviously, the Japanese government at the time was not fools. They didn't suddenly go, you've outsmarted us, you changed the name, I guess you can do whatever you want. But kite flying did continue, they kept passing laws against it, and clearly didn't work because they had to keep passing them. As you can see here, this is a list of bannings that happened in one area of Japan over kites. Eventually, though, of course, the Tokugawa shogunate ended up having more important things to pay attention to, and Japan just decided to let people fly kites as much as they want. This eventually led to a creation of an original kanji for kite. So the kanji we use now is a kokuji, or a kanji that was developed in Japan, and it's a combination of wind and fabric, which, makes sense for a kite. As for the taco that appear on your body, this is a bit more unclear. This likely comes from tankobu, or a bump, ta-nkobu, ta-ko, some kind of shortening there. However, there is some possibility, at least a theory that's out there, it's not very prominent, that this comes from Ainu, where a word tapkop, or something to that extent, was used to indicate a kind of bump. Again, this is unlikely because that would mean that tankobu actually has no relation to kobu, and it's very likely that kobu came first and then tan was added. But, it's out there, so I might as well recognize it. In this idea, though, if it is true, all these words are related because the tapkop word in Ainu relates to some kind of round shape, which would be where the octopus comes from. Unlikely, but possible. It doesn't seem 100% sure that anyone knows where the taco from calluses comes from. Anyway, I didn't know that. Now I do, and now you do too. See you next time.